Hello friends, look at this. We reached 1000 subscribers. It's quite a big family. Yeah, so happy about that. Thank you everybody who subscribed to the channel. Actually, at the moment that I'm recording the video, we're like 1060. If I think of fitting 60 people in this room, it's quite a big number, so it's worth saying it. We're not 1000 now, we're 1060. So thanks to the other 60 people who subscribed. To celebrate, I want to share a free EP on Bandcamp. I never use Bandcamp, but I think I can manage to upload music there. I'll try after I finish recording this video. I think I'm gonna fit in the EP 3 tracks. One is minimal house, the other 2 are house tracks, but one is kind of lo-fi. You already heard it in the soundtrack of a video, and one I never shared it, and I don't even know what kind of house it is, but let me know if you like it. And if you like it, it would be cool if you make a video when you play it. Maybe if you play it on a set or just in your bedroom. If you make a video on Instagram and you tag me, it would be really cool, so I can show my mom that all the money I spent on music gear is well worth it.
You're giving me the money back!
You're giving me the money back!
In this video we're gonna talk about how you can possibly approach the modular world when you want to make house music, and in particular minimal house and micro house, which is what this channel is about, and what are the modules that you should start with. In the modular world, there are 2 main approaches, in my opinion. The first one is from that people that want to go completely out of the box, so they got a big modular system, analog synthesizer, drum machines, and so on. On the other side, there are those ones like me who want to use modules as a complementary way to make music alongside with the DAW and the plugins and the software instruments. And that's for 2 reasons. On one side, I still like to use samples and software synthesizer, but especially samples for drums are really important to me because they give me a lot of possibilities. On the other side, I think that sometimes it's easier to come up with new sounds and ideas when you have something you can physically put your hands on. So having an outboard gear is really helpful because it's also more funny to do. So that's why I decided to start with the modular experience. Just a quick note before going on, you will see light and darkness outside of my window throughout the video, and that's because I'm not recording all in one take, because I'm still not good at making video, I guess. Yeah. So back to the video. The first module you need in most of the cases is an oscillator, which is the module that generates the sound. On the market there are thousands of different oscillators and different brands. Some of them are really basic, so they make just the classic analog waveforms such as the sine wave, the square wave, the sawtooth wave, and I forgot the triangle wave. Other are more advanced, more complex, such as my multi-oscillator Plaits. They can make a ton of different sounds, and in my case it has some advanced features that make it a fantastic standalone module. So that's why I decided to buy this module. So let's start from a basic oscillator. A typical basic oscillator could be the Doepfer A110, which is a very simple oscillator in which you can control the pitch of the sound and modulate the pulse width of the square wave through a knob or through voltage. Then it has 4 outputs, one for each waveform that it can generate. So the first things I want to show you is how a basic module oscillator works, like the Doepfer, for example, and I want to compare with the Sylenth, which is a virtual synthesizer, and I'll show you how the oscillator work with my module Plaits, which can of course work as a basic oscillator as well. So this is my module, my oscillator module, and on the C-length, the module is the oscillator module is just this part. All the other parts are other modules. So on the oscillator, you can set the waveform. You set the voices to 1 to be the same as a real module because it's monophonic, and also here polyphonic to 1. That means that you can't play chords. On my module, to look at it like a Doepfer module, you will have just the output and a voltage per octave input. So this is the output where the sounds come from. Here you have the control over the note that you're playing. So if I plug the output, I will hear a continuous sound. I can adjust the frequency of the sound. To control the note, you got to plug the voltage per octave. So now with my BeatStep Pro, I'm sending a voltage that controls the pitch of the sound, depending on what button I press on my BeatStep. So now I have this. And here you have the problem because you can't control the behavior of the sound. So you can't control when the sound starts and when the sound stops. There are two ways to control the behavior of the sound. The first is controlling the sound in amplitude. So that means that you control the volume of the sound through a VCA, which is a voltage controlled amplitude module. So a control on the volume at the output. The second way is to control the sound through a filter. So you have a VCF module, voltage controlled filter module, which is my case. So here I have a filter that can work as a low pass filter. So when I set the cutoff all the way down, I cut all the sound down to the sub frequencies, so I don't hear no sound. When I open the filter, I start hearing the sound. If you don't want to control this manually, you use an envelope generator. So the envelope controls automatically the behavior of the frequency cutoff. Okay, so let's see how this works. So I plug not directly on the output of the oscillator, but on the output of the filter. And then I connect my oscillator to the input of the filter. So let's choose a different waveform. So if you don't want to do that manually, you will need an envelope generator. So you need another output from your BeatStep Pro, which is the gate signal that tells the module when you press the button. So it opens the gate and the cycle of the envelope starts. So it starts going from the attack to the decay to the sustain. And when you release the button on your controller, that could be the BeatStep or a keyboard or whatever, the gate closes. So you go from the sustain step to the release step, which is the last part of the envelope. So I connect the gate to the envelope. This is the gate. And then I want to control the filter frequency with the output of my envelope generator. So let's take another patch cable. So as long as I keep the button pressed, the filter is completely open. So it's like this. But when I release the button, the filter closes. When I release the button, I move from the sustain phase to the release phase. So if I raise up the release, I decide how long it takes to close the filter. So that's the same on the C-length. So the C-length is by default patched to an amp envelope generator. So that means that by default you're controlling the sound in amplitude, and the VCA is controlled by this envelope here. So now I have the release all the way down. If I raise it up, okay, but it's controlled in amplitude, so not with a filter. If I want to control with a filter, so let's say I want to set this like I'm using a real oscillator, so I have this situation, kind of. So the sound is always playing, not really, but almost. I want to use a filter to control the sound, so now I set here a low pass filter, all cut off down, so the sound is not playing at the moment. And now I controlling this cutoff with envelope here. You can assign this envelope to everything you want. I want to assign the behavior of my C-length envelope the same way that I set the dual ADSR here. So like this. And now it's controlled by the filter. So let's use another waveform. Same as here. Here is the C-length. Here is the modular system. So guys, that's basically what you need when you have a basic oscillator. So you see that you can use it in a musical way if you don't have other modules like an envelope generator. This is a quite complete envelope generator. There are simpler envelope generators that has maybe just the attack and the decay and not the sustain and release, and then a filter or a VCA. You can have both, of course, but depending on what is your taste. So I like to use filter because you can use it for other purposes. I don't know the pronunciation. Anyway, that's what you need. So the reason why I suggest you to choose Plaits as your first module is because it's featured with some advanced functions that allows you to use it as a standalone module, and that's why it's featured with two great functions, which are the internal decay envelope generator and the internal low pass gate. Those two features means that you have inside just one module an envelope generator, so this module, a VCF, so this module, and a VCA. So you can decide if you want to stop the sound with a VCA, so with a amplitude decay, or with a VCF, so with a cutoff decay. This is actually really simplified because I don't want to go too much into details on the decaying generator, envelope generator, and on the low pass gate because it's pretty complex and I could say something wrong, but more or less that's what you do. So you can decide how long to keep the note whenever you press the button, and how fast or how slow the sound decays, both with a filter or with a VCA. Let's take a look closer. So you have those two voltage inputs. One is more for percussive sounds, and this is for, let's say, melodies. So let's try. I connect the output, then I connect the pitch control. And then I connect the gate. Cool. So now the sound stop. Okay? So when you connect the trigger, you can control how the sound stays sustained, because if I keep press the button, the sound still decays, but I can control how fast it decays. So with this knob, keeping this button pressed, you see that the LEDs goes up and down, so, right? So you set the release time, I would say. Also, you can set with this knob if you want it to be a VCF or a VCA. Here the sound is going down in volume. Here you have a frequency cut. So it's pretty different. If I plug not the trigger but the level, now I can also control the sustain. So if I keep the button pressed, the sound goes on. As I remove my finger from the button, it starts to decay. And you still can control the release Last but not least, Plaits, it's incredible for the amount of sound that it can generate. So there are basically 8 models which are more for voice sounds and melodic sounds, and 8 models which are more for percussive and granular or really weird sounds. So as you can see, you have this LED, this central LED. You have 8 models on this side, on the green LED, and 8 on the red LED side. And every sound can be modulated with the harmonics and timbre and morph parameter, and that gives you tons and tons of different sounds. So it's really a nice module. I love it. I'm still learning new sounds. I'm still finding new crazy sounds, and especially I can use it without any other module. So all these other modules that I have here are a plus. I mean, I can use them for more things, especially the Rampage. I use it with Plaits to create some modulation. This is a complete other oscillator, so it's a different thing. I can use it for other stuff. This is cool. We're gonna talk about it in another video probably. But those 2 modules are just a plus because I can use this module as a standalone, as I said before. So that's really cool. Now maybe we can listen to some of the sound that this module can generate. What do you think? Let's do it. Alright guys, so thanks for watching. I hope everything was clear and I hope I haven't confused you. For sure I said something wrong. Please help me in the comment if you know something more about the thing I've said. If you want to know all the features of this module, go to DivKid channel. He reviews almost every module on the market and he's very detailed, and so that will help you to understand all the power of the module. My intent was to give you an advice on why you should buy this module instead of other oscillator, but feel free, of course, to have your own idea and take a look to the market and to the possibilities you have. Yeah, if you liked the video, please subscribe to the channel, and if you didn't, let me know in the comments. Don't use that thumb down button, okay? So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.